Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 5 aboard the MV ADAC here in Sitka. I'm John from Fly 8 Mike Alpha, CFI turned airline pilot turned back to CFI. Come along on my journey, flying Alaska to Florida and beyond. The wind today is not exactly what it was forecast to be. We were told by the TAF and everything that it was going to be roughly, variable at 3 knots. And we woke up today with winds gusting to about 25 to 30, maybe a few gusts at 35 knots. So a little bit inaccurate on the weather forecast up here. I don't know if you guys have already started to detect, just from the last few days of traveling, that the weather forecasts up here really aren't too accurate, and the weather changes pretty much by the mile. Right now, although the weather's looking better, take a look out the window here over the port side. It's starting to look better here in Sitka. We're hoping to make it to Ketchikan today, and that is unfortunately pretty doubtful. Looking at the FAA weather cams, it's probably not going to happen today. Right now, it's overcast about 800 to 1,000 feet in Ketchikan. And Ketchikan's right in this little mountain pass. You guys will see when we finally get there, we'll show you. But it's right kind of in this valley or pass, and it can get socked in. It's really dicey getting in there. And after what we've been through the last couple of days, we really just don't want to keep trying all this kind of sketchy flying. So anyways, today, I figured I'd give you a quick little tour of the MV ADAC, which is basically the stern right out there. Got an awesome little kitchen. I am hard at work video editing while Steph is out in search of food and checking on the airplane, making sure it didn't flip over in the wind or something, but it's tied down, so it should be all good. We've got bathrooms and a little pantry, and we've got our fancy estate room through this very skinny narrow door right there. Pretty cool for a little Airbnb. And then up here is the captain's quarters, very exclusive. So if you guys are ever in Sitka and want a very fancy place to stay, the MV ADAC with the captain's quarters is definitely worth checking out. This is really fancy. I should actually come up here and do some video editing now that everybody else is gone. And you even have your own little exclusive wood stove with a mini hatchet. But yeah, overall, weather's great. It's actually really beautiful here today. Just wish it was a little bit better out towards Ketchikan. So back to video editing, and if we have time today, maybe we'll take you over to the airplane and show you guys what we're using for cameras and all the different mounts and stuff that we're putting on the airplane to get all these awesome camera angles and all this awesome footage that you guys have been seeing so far. So, probably not gonna be doing much flying today, but we will tell you guys about what we're using to mount up the cameras to get all these awesome shots. So we have a couple different things now. We switched over mostly to these all metal FlightFlix mounts. And they come in several different varieties that we're using. But the idea here is that we used to use a lot of suction cups and things and just sticky mounts that might come off in the wind. And it would really suck to lose a camera and lose the footage. It would really suck to lose a camera and have it hit somebody. So using something that's all metal is a little bit better. And the way these things work is pretty simple. This one's all tightened up, so I don't really want to mess with it. But you can, basically the idea behind the FlightFlix mounts is they're all 2 points of contact or 2 mounting points, and then some sort of redundant locking nut on all the tightening mechanisms. So if you come around and look at this one, the GoPro case is all metal too on the front side here, so you don't have to really worry about, and that's just a little UV filter, which kind of protects the GoPro lens. But you don't have to worry about the plastic case cracking. You don't have to worry about any plastic parts, so temperature's not going to be a factor. This whole deal here is the Vibex mount, so it just absorbs a lot of vibration in the airplane, so it gives you a really smooth, steady image without any of the engine vibration. Out here we've just got the mounting plate, and so this mounting plate is really the same as what's over there. So you just take this little dovetail mount, or the dovetails on the airplane, and then you take this little mount bracket and you would put it up there, attach it, spin it on, and then you could put a nut on the other side to make sure it's actually going to lock on, and you'd have a whole nother Vibex mount, and then of course the GoPro attaches right there with that screw. You could even get really crazy and put a little number 8 lock nut, nylock nut on the other side of that, so your GoPro is never going to come off. And then you use a metal case for the GoPro. Metal cases are 15 to 25 bucks on Amazon instead of the plastic case that comes with the GoPros. And it's just gives you a really good peace of mind. So when we're doing like 140 miles an hour, diving down, trying to get down, going through really crazy turbulence, we're never really worried about the cameras coming off the airplane. The last couple of days, there's just different camera angles since we just got these mounts, because we only got these a couple days ago, really, or before this trip anyways, just before we left Florida. So we've got a tie-down mount up here. Of course, you have to take it off if you want to use your tie-down, but same idea. It's just that dovetail that this would mount on there. You don't have to use the Vibex deal. You could just, if you want something simpler, go and replace the Vibex with like this, and then you just have a 1/4-20 to screw on like a Sony camera or a drift camera, or you could have one of these that just ends in this, so you could use a GoPro. We've got little adapters like these, but of course this is plastic, so I don't really want to use anything plastic outside the airplane anymore. Plastic's fine for inside the airplane, not so much for outside, because why bother? If we've got all metal stuff, then we might as well use that. So yeah, we've got another place to mount a camera up there on the tie down. We've got these guys that just wrap around the wing strut, which are pretty sweet. So we've got two that we've just kind of been trying out. We actually haven't even mounted cameras to these yet. I hopefully will soon. I just don't know how excited I am about this camera angle compared to all the other camera angles we've had. But yeah, two different ways to mount, you know, to the wing strut or anything big and round on your airplane. So even like a big fairing on maybe like a Piper or something like that. These just wrap around, they're adjustable, and they're pretty sturdy. I mean, they're not going to come off at all. I just definitely like the ones that screw onto the airplane a little bit better so far. Here we've got this guy, and that's actually been a pretty cool camera angle. What did you think, Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah, you liked it. But yeah, we were able to get the tire and a little bit of the wingtip there too, and we used the Vibex just because all the vibration and all the airflow coming from the propeller there. So that just mounted up like that, and then we were able to put a GoPro right there. This absorbed all our vibration, and it worked out really good. The first time we did it, didn't do a very good job tightening this Vibex up, and so we're actually getting vibration transfer. So you have to set these up the right way so you don't actually have metal contact going through. It helps when you read the directions. Go figure. So we've got this guy, and this is good for like any handle. So anywhere you have a handle on the airplane, any of your, you know, a lot of your tailwheel airplanes have handles on the back of them, or any of your Cessnas that have the handles up front here, the Pipers that have the handle near the door. This is perfect for that, and it's really stable. I mean, we don't have the Vibex mount up here because it's stable enough. Even though it is obviously near the engine, there's some vibration, it's not vibrating so much, and it's stable enough that we really don't need any sort of vibration reducer up here for the camera. And that's what, like this little ball here, that's the 1/4-20, that's just a ball that goes right to the GoPro mount. So really similar. But most of the stuff we're using is GoPro. We'll show you guys in another video all the cameras we're using, because it's quite the assortment now that we're up to. Maybe we can tighten that up a little bit too. Pretty annoying. So back here on the tail, we've got the similar one that we had on the step getting in the airplane. So it just mounts right to the tail wheel spring, and then we've got nylock nuts on either side of it with these longer carriage bolts. Or you could use Allen key bolts, whatever. Just a fully threaded bolt works really well, so you don't have to worry about, you know, thickness wise. It's super strong on there. I mean, I can jerk the whole airplane around by this. You could probably tow the airplane by it. So it just goes right to the GoPro mount, and then the GoPro just kind of sticks out there, and we mount it just like that, or like that. And it's super sturdy. I mean, there's no vibration. We were getting vibration before with the plastic GoPro mount. We had to wrap some rubber stuff around there. But the trouble was, it was a plastic mount, you know, and you always worry about over tightening it, under tightening it. It just snapping off in cold temperatures, whatever, just from years of fatigue. This thing's all metal and aluminum, and it's super sturdy. And we get no vibration with this camera at all, using the GoPro 5s and 6s. And hopefully the 7's here soon too. So the last mount we've got in the airplane right now is just this you know, same mounting plate that we have on the wingtips. It works really good for anywhere you have an inspection plate. But it's the same deal, right? It's just a dovetail mount going to this little vice grip guy thing, or whatever you want to call these. And so these little two halves come off, and it goes to the ball and 1/4-20. So we're running a drift camera that has a 1/4-20 mount on there before, and trying out the Sony camera as well with the 1/4 20 mount. But yeah, I mean, these they're all really great. I definitely you know, I've been using GoPros for a really long time, and that's mostly what we use. But so far with these mounts anyways, I'm really happy with them. They they're pretty stable. I think there's like 2 types, right? So there's like the Rocksteady brand or Rocksteady variation that FlightFlix has, and then they have the Vibex, you know, the Rocksteady Vibex stuff. So either way, I mean, these, even without the Vibex, are truly Rocksteady. The ones that we have up on the cowling, on the handle on the cowling, is awesome, super sturdy. So is that one. The one on the wingtip, we haven't tried it without Vibex yet. So I'm not sure if it's good enough to use without the Vibex mount. We've just been using it with, just in case. The GoPro 6s and 7s have really good stabilization in them. The 5's okay to absorb some vibration anyways. Any of your other cameras don't really have that good a stabilization built in. So yeah, those are mostly the mounts we're using. We can look inside what we're using too here. I'll go ahead and just, I'll grab it. Trade you. Thank you. So inside here we've got just a little sticky GoPro mount that's used for looking forward. I would love to replace this with the same brackets that we have out here on the wing. Just so it's all uniform and we're using all the same stuff. Life is way easier when you're using all the same equipment all around the airplane. You don't have to worry about carrying different parts, different adapters, and all that crazy stuff. And then up here we've got the sticky on the windshield that goes to the GoPro mount for the one that looks at our faces and helps us record audio with that cable right there. We were for a little while using this guy up on the V-brace. And it was working out just fine. I'd like to go back to doing that, but I really wanted to get that camera angle and try that out. And I'm glad we did, because it's pretty awesome. So hopefully we'll just get another one of those mounts here soon to mount up on the V-brace permanently. This thing works good. There's not too much vibration through the windshield, so we don't have to worry about that. There's a little bit more vibration through the V-brace, so we may wind up running the Vibex mount with the little clamp mount down here, and that combined with the Vibex should be good for the one looking at our faces, or we may just stick with that little GoPro sticky because it's been working out for us this far. So for audio, we've tried a bunch of different cables. We've got this one right now, which is just the standard, goes on the old GoPros, and that's why I still run GoPro 3s and 4s, not by choice, but we run the GoPro 4 looking at our faces because you don't really need to see our faces in 4K, it's not that pretty. So we're running the GoPro 4 looking at us, getting audio, and then back here, we've just started running audio on the GoPro 5s and 6s using GoPro's little adapter. All I can tell you is the audio on the GoPro 5s and 6s sucks, and trying to make it work all the time sucks. The reliability of it is terrible. And that would probably be the only reason I'd be considering switching over to something like Drift or Sony, just because obviously we need good quality audio and we need to know it's going to be recording. So GoPro is definitely failing on that side right now. Even with the GoPro 7, I'm sure it's all the same. So that's about it for camera mounts and what we're using. We've made some of our own audio cables before that have worked okay. The biggest thing is just trying to get the shielding right so you're not picking up engine noise, magneto noise, all that in the shots. But any questions on the camera mounts, guys, leave it in the comments below. You can actually get all the stuff we're using. We have it all on our online store, right? So go to shop.flyatmikealpha.com. We'll put the links in the description below, and you can get all the same mounts for your airplane that we're using on ours, as well as the cameras and all that we've got links to. So any questions on it, leave it in the comments below. You guys know what to do, and we will also do a whole nother video on the cameras we're using, and especially the settings we're using on the cameras, because that's really the key. Isn't so much the camera you're using, but how you're setting it up, what sort of frame rates you're using, what sort of shutter speeds you're using, what sort of ISO settings you're using, white balance, all of that. we'll talk about more in another video that's going to be kind of a lengthy one. So now I think the bikes are put together and it's time for us to grab little Sia and head into town, go find some food. So yeah, we stayed in Sitka today. The weather forecast was not really that great looking towards Ketchikan. Despite that, about probably what, 4:30, 5 o'clock, it turned out to be...
The forecast wasn't great, but once 4 rolled around,
we probably should have been flying to Ketchikan. It was perfect weather. However, tomorrow the forecast is looking great, but we all know how well that works out around here. So we are at the second Airbnb right now. Here's the grand tour.
Ta-da!
There you go, you've seen it. Steph did not want to stay on the boat a second night.
It was just me.
Yeah, well, I liked the boat, but she wanted a real shower, and I enjoyed the real shower here too.
Showers help.
Yeah, so it's a very nice Airbnb. Another night in Sitka, which is pretty cool, but we're mapping out where we're going to be going tomorrow and where we've already come so far. So if Steph would be so kind to do the honors, we have so far made it from Anchorage over to Valdez the first day through semi-sketchy weather, as you guys saw. And then we went through Thompson Pass, which was freaking cool, through woohoo, right there, stopping off at Copper River, I think it was. The Copper River Delta.
Columbia Glacier,
and
Copper River.
Then popping into Cordova for the night. That Steph spent curled up in bed, and I spent in search of lots of migraine medication and things to make her feel better. Then we popped out of Cordova the next day to come this way, past Katala, past Kayak Island, kind of hugging the shoreline the best we could through Cape Yagataga, and all the way on over to Yakutuk.
That was a long day of flying.
Yeah, that was the first leg, 200 miles, and then we continued on down through the shoreline over towards Sitka, right about Cape Spencer, right about here, per, you know, how it's supposed to be, per Steph's prediction. It turned to crap, and we flew kind of in the dark-ish the rest of the way around all these little islands, eventually sneaking our way into Sitka, where we are right now. So, it was still a really good day though, even though we didn't get any flying in. We got to meet up with a really cool dude. He's a coastie here in Sitka, works on the UH-60 helicopters, brand new fan of the channel. He found it this morning. His buddy texted it to him, and then he just happened to reach out to us on Instagram, so we got to go meet up, have a beer with him, which was really cool. If you guys are following this channel on YouTube, the YouTube videos are pretty current, but Instagram is totally live. We do a lot of live videos on Instagram, so follow us there at Fly8MA and Fly8MikeAlpha, and that way we can actually meet up with you. Shoot us a message on there when you see us getting close to your town, so we can actually meet up with you, have a beer with you in your city when we get there. But anyways, yeah, so we're in Sitka, and tomorrow the weather's looking better, so we're probably thinking we're going to sneak out kind of along the shoreline here and then tuck in, kind of backtrack a little bit almost, and then get into Ketchikan. Hopefully come back up through Sumner Strait and then through the Clarence Strait on into Ketchikan. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Hopefully lots of awesome flying tomorrow. Hopefully good weather too. But you guys know what to do. Like the video if you do. Subscribe if you have not already. Go ahead, hit that little bell over there on the right so you get notified when we post our latest episodes as they're coming out here.
And Sia's tired.
Sia's very tired. We're all kind of tired. It's been a long couple days.
Say hi. All right.
We will see you guys in the next episode.